We're so glad you're starting off your day with us. I'm Tim Pham. Well, it is opening day for the Spokane Indians, and it is also KREM 2 night. So all morning long, we are at Avista Stadium getting you ready for first pitch. Our Brandon T. Jones and meteorologist Thomas Patrick are at Avista Stadium. We're going to be checking in with them. They are taking a look at some of the fun things happening coming up tonight. So Thomas, why don't you start things off with a look at the forecast, because people want to know if it's going to be rainy or if they'll just need a ball cap.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tim, we did just move inside the concession stand area because it was starting to get a little wet. Brandon's got your fleece is
I got a lot of water on me right now.
Yeah, it did actually start picking up rain during our last live segment with all the mascots just a moment ago. So a nice little chance to dry out. And honestly, if you're coming into the concession stand, you might be able to feel the heat coming off of the equipment here. So it might not be a bad place to spend the evening tonight.
Yep. That's exactly right. And honestly, you know, I'm feeling, that rain got to me a little bit, Thomas. You know, but thankfully, you said that's like a low chance, right? You know.
The rain this morning not going to stick around all day long. And I'll tell you what, just being here in the concession area, you can smell that kettle corn.
Tom. Yeah, you can definitely
talk
smell
about
that
the
kettle
sights
corn.
and smells.
Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. I'm like, let me take one of these bags home with me.
Yeah, you're gonna have more on some of the new stuff you can find, because you know baseball food is all about what is new, and Spokane Indians, no different there. But as for the rain this morning, it did pick up just a little bit in the past 15-30 minutes here. Not expected to last all day long, just a morning event as this cold front is sweeping through the inland northwest. Temperature did drop another degree. We're at 42 now in Spokane. We got a quarter inch of rain through the overnight hours. That'll continue for a little bit longer. Our temperatures will largely hold steady, but will increase just a bit as we get a bit drier into the afternoon hours. So we'll go from the low 40s this morning to the upper 40s, maybe around 50 degrees for this afternoon. But the winds are starting to pick up as well. As the rain moves out, the winds will increase. Our wind gusts already jumped up to 30 miles per hour here in Spokane. So expecting a quite windy Tuesday, quite windy home opening day, opening evening for the Spokane Indians for tonight. We'll have more on that forecast in just a couple minutes.
And make sure to join us tonight for KREM 2 News for a special night at the Spokane Indians home opener. You'll want to join Whitney, Mark, Jeremy, and Travis to celebrate the beginning of baseball season here in Spokane. The game starts at 6:35 at Avista Stadium, and we hope to see you there. Happening today, the Coeur d'Alene School Board will discuss a policy requiring students to use bathrooms that align with the gender they were assigned at birth. This comes after Idaho Governor Brad Little signed Senate Bill 1100, otherwise known as the Bathroom Bill. The bill requires schools to maintain separate restrooms in changing areas designated for, quote, male persons only or female persons only. The bill is set to become law on July 1st.
I think there's been a reluctance to develop a policy because it's a hot button topic. But I think the time has come that we must have a policy.
Documents show the district will also provide reasonable accommodations like single occupancy bathrooms for trans and non-binary students. The meeting starts at 4:30 this afternoon at the Midtown Center meeting room. Meanwhile, the Lakeland Joint School District Board of Trustees voted last night on their new gender identity policy. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press report their policy will also align with the bathroom bill. Their new policy also says any discussions between students and teachers about gender identity, sexual orientation, and gender expression will be prohibited. The policy aims to protect parents' rights by preventing teachers from talking to a student about gender or sexuality. The new policy will go through a trial period before legal review and being fully implemented. In a matter of hours, testimony is continuing today in the trial against Lori Vallow, the woman accused of killing her 2 children. Our Nicole Hernandez is in the newsroom right now. And Nicole, you've been following this case very closely. What have we seen from the courtroom so far?
So, Tim, after a week of jury selection, the judge swore in the final jury yesterday. Then the defense and the prosecution gave their opening statements. The prosecution went through a timeline of Vallow and her current husband, Chad Daybell's relationship. The attorney also explained how Vallow believed in evil spirits. They said, quote, it didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. If it was a person, it didn't matter who, end quote. The defense attorney, though, said Vallow was a, quote, good, responsible mother. He said the children were murdered in Vallow's brother's apartment, and Vallow was in her own apartment at the time. And he said Vallow was in Hawaii when Tammy Daybell died. Tammy is Chad Daybell's ex-wife. After opening statements, the prosecution started laying out their case against Lori Vallow. They talked to 2 witnesses yesterday, including J.J. Vallow's grandmother. And after the first day of testimony yesterday, we heard from J.J.'s grandfather outside the courthouse.
I'm the biggest advocate of 12 jurors and a fair and honest judicial system.
So the prosecution will continue their case today. We're expecting the prosecution to talk to over 200 witnesses in the next 8 to 10 weeks. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
New details this morning from the Coeur d'Alene Police Department after Friday's deadly shooting in a store parking lot. Police say a suspected car burglar was shot and killed by an armed citizen. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk uncovered new details in the case.
Coeur d'Alene police have identified the armed man as 74-year-old James Dean of Priest River. Police say Dean and his wife were walking back to their truck in the Michaels parking lot when they saw 30-year-old Shane Brown of Sandpoint inside their pickup. He appeared to be robbing the vehicle. Police say the 74-year-old confronted Brown and pulled out a handgun. At that point, Brown got out of the truck and into a separate vehicle. According to police, Dean stood in front of that car and Brown accelerated toward him. Dean ended up on the hood and fired several shots, hitting the 30-year-old who died at the scene. Dean was taken to the hospital with injuries. At this point, we don't know his condition or if he's been released. Police say once their investigation wraps up, the case will be forwarded to the county prosecutor and they will decide if this armed citizen will face any charges. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
It is 7:08 now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. New in the last 12 hours, search and rescue crews found the plane wreckage and the body of a Tacoma pilot who went missing more than a month ago. Rod Collin went missing on March 6th when the plane he was flying fell off of radar. Yesterday, they found the plane with Collin's body inside in a densely wooded area on tribal lands. The NTSB is investigating what led up to the crash. This morning, the city of Leavenworth is considering limiting the number of bed and breakfasts within city limits. The Seattle Times reports right now within the city there are 15 businesses and 3 more with preliminary approval. The commission raised the idea of a moratorium to stop any more from opening their doors. A final decision on capping the bed and breakfast would have to come from the Leavenworth City Council.